If you turn over an item like this antique creamer, there's a good chance that you'll find something strange between its legs.
That's a penis.
EPNS stands for electroplated nickel silver. That phrase may seem harmless, but it's actually been a cause of confusion for centuries. You can find a lot of different definitions for it online, but it actually means that a very thin layer of silver has been electroplated atop a base of nickel silver. Nickel silver itself is deceptive too, because despite its name, there's no silver in it at all.
Blimey!
I'll explain that in a second, but first, we need to clear up a couple of historical misconceptions. See, Chinese craftsmen have been working with a naturally occurring alloy called pak tong for millennia. In about 1600 or so, items made from the stuff wound up in Europe, but nobody could figure out what the metal actually was. It wasn't until 1751 that nickel was identified, and it wasn't until 1769 that a British inventor named Matthew Boulton managed to recreate pak tong. Now, history remembers Boulton very well, but his work with pak tong has been almost entirely forgotten. That's why we have the myth that German chemists were the first to duplicate it in the 1820s. Those chemists did refine the alloy though, improving its resemblance to silver. The imitation was called alpaca, like the animal but with two C's, and today we call it nickel silver. By the way, phrases like two C's are practically the only times when apostrophes pluralize. Date ranges like 1820s shouldn't have apostrophes. Abbreviated ranges like 20s can use apostrophes to show that things have been removed, but 20 apostrophe S will only ever mean belonging to 20.
Shut up!
Anyway, alpaca's popularity meant that there was suddenly a use for nickel. Before then, it was seen as a worthless kind of fool's copper, and it even gets its name from a German trickster. Past about 1830 though, nickel silver was manufactured in huge quantities, usually being composed of about 20% nickel, 20% zinc, and 60% copper, which means that it's actually a type of brass. The dishonest nature of nickel is still present too, because for almost as long as it's been around, nickel silver has been used to deceive people.
Why this deception?
See, EPNS was originally offered as a new and inexpensive alternative to sterling, but before long, shady retailers were using phrases like pure German silver in advertisements, conveniently forgetting to mention that German silver and nickel silver are exactly the same thing. Even today, you'll occasionally see hints that someone has been scammed.
This is a gold-plated nickel alloy cuticle sculptor.
If you want to avoid being scammed, then you should know that New Silver, Albion Silver, Sydney Silver, Alpaca, Alp, Hotel Silver, Nevada Silver, Jeff, and Cobalt Silver are all just different names for nickel silver, and I only made up one of those. Whenever you find a seemingly silver object, remember to check for EPNS or any of the other names that I mentioned. The rest of the time, remember that apostrophes do not pluralize.